We ready. We ready. We ready for y'all. Come on, come on. We ready. Come on, come on. We ready. We ready for y'all. Welcome to the Dadbodd podcast, episode number 93, sponsored by Viva Tequila Seltzers. We will get to an ad read in a second. I am Guns Picks, joined by my colleague, my partner in crime, fresh from soccer practice while he was yelling at 10, 11-year-olds, screaming them to run slants and football plays when it was soccer. Pun Picks, what's going on, my friend?
What's up, brother? Ready to dive into the Pac-12. I'm kind of mad I missed the ACC show, but you guys did a great job in my absence.
Great show.
I was gone at a yearly golf trip with buddies, and I want to let everybody know that I brought home the green jacket. I won. I was gone, but I won. So that's what we do around here.
It's a tradition, unlike any other.
We win. We win. All right, so we're going Pac-12 today, right?
We are doing Pac-12. I feel like I'm doing a G5 podcast right now. Looking at the Pac-12. I know it's necessary for capping to kind of like break down every single team of at least the P5 and then kind of sporadically just do a G5. But this one, I was like, I'm kind of saying the same thing every time. I'm reiterating the same type of weakness. Weaknesses are going to be prevalent in this podcast. So
kind of like the ACC a little bit toward the bottom, where you're like
towards the bottom, yeah. But I think they hit a little bit quicker in the Pac-12. Yeah. Whereas there's probably 4 or 5 teams that can contend in the ACC. There's probably 2, maybe 3 that have a shot at even anything as far as.
But I think they're a good 3, so that's good. I think the Pac-12's improved. So we're gonna go team by team, and then we're gonna rank the conference. We're gonna
rank them. We're gonna give some team totals.
Right. We're gonna give some bets,
and we're gonna pick our winner for the Pac-12.
Yeah. So it's gonna be a full show. As always, we'll get these picks out on Twitter so you guys can see them. But where do you want to start, Mister?
Well, I want to start with what are we drinking right now? We drinking Vivas, right? So let's get to an ad read for our great sponsor, the guy you see right by my Kyron Williams jersey right here. We're talking Viva Tequila Seltzers. This podcast is sponsored by Viva Tequila Seltzers. Yeah, the Dadbods are sponsored by Viva Tequila Seltzers. Viva Tequila Seltzers are refreshing and drinkable hard seltzer, 88 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and 4.5 ABV. Viva is the perfect drink for your college football post-game celebrations, as it was created for the active lifestyle in mind. Viva flavors their tequila because flavor is the spice of life, and they like to live their lives with a little bit of a kick, as we do too, just as we like to live our lives. Viva flavors perfectly with their artisanal Blanco tequila for a subtle and refreshing drink. Their belief and our belief is to live long, live well, and live it up. Hashtag Viva Up. And please go check them out on Twitter and give them a follow at Viva Seltzer. Well, Lockbats just sent me a message on Slack, so I have to look into that. If you want to banter a little bit,
he's traveling back. He might pop in.
Okay, well,
but either way, he said to get rolling. Yeah,
that's all right. It's the OGs of the college football breakdown, which we've decided prior. We're going to do this every goddamn year. Maybe I might be dead at the end of the year, but we'll see. All right. I'm just kidding. I will be here next year. So let's start with you want to start with the cream of the crop, but the cream of the flop?
You know what? Let's start on the north. Let's start with the north and end with the south.
All right, let's go north. We're gonna start with wow. Okay. Let's start with let's start with the team that people really think are going to win the North, and that's going to be the Quack Oregon Mighty Ducks.
Correct.
I'm going to give it to you, Pun, to start off. A lot of changes, not only in the coaching, but in the player personnel in the transfer portal era. What are your thoughts on Oregon?
So Oregon, other than that opening game and the BYU game, has a pretty easy schedule. Because the North is easy. So you're playing all those teams. And then
don't forget about Georgia. They got to play Georgia in week 1.
Well, that's what I said. Other than Georgia and BYU,
okay,
they got a pretty winnable schedule, and they have Utah at home. I mean, this team is going to go as Bo Nix goes, right? I mean, the Auburn transfer who showed isn't it Bo Nix? Yeah, you looked at me.
Yeah,
like
it's Bo Nix. Bo Nix is leading charge at Oregon. Wild decision. But
that could go one or two ways, man. He could go in there and light it up, or he could be the Bo Nix that is just frantic and makes mistakes. Now, keep in mind, he's going from the SEC to the Pac-12, much different defensive skill level. So that's going to help him out. Easier schedule. I don't know, man. Oregon should win the North by a landslide. I have them going 10-2 on the season, 8-1. And I think they have a legit chance to win the Pac-12. Not go to the playoff, because I don't think a 2-loss Pac-12 team will get to the playoffs. But I like this Oregon team. I really do. What about you?
I'm a little on the fence on this team. I need to see a couple games under my belt. I'm not saying that they're not going to be good, especially with the competition on their side of the bracket.
And that's what it's all about,
right?
For me, yeah.
I think when you actually look at Oregon, 15 returning starters, 8 on offense, 7 on defense, including majority of their offensive line. Key to the success, especially when you're bringing in a transfer in Bo Nix. And I think the head coach, correct me if I'm wrong, was the offensive coordinator, or at least worked with Bo Nix before. That's the reason why he went to Oregon. So the system that he brings in should kind of translate to what he's dealt with before. But I think that could be a detriment to him as well, because if you look at his performance statistically versus good teams, not so good. And I'll probably talk about that. I mean, they're going to have to play Georgia in the first round. I mean, first week. That's going to be a really, really tough challenge and a barometer for the success of the team. So, like I said, 15 starters, 86 total starts overall on the offensive line, which is ranked 5th in the country. So, from the offensive line's perspective, they're going to provide the protection that is needed. Can Bo Nix, can the running game improve? And I just don't know with the new head coach. I don't know if you're going to see the same style of Oregon Duck offense that you're used to. Is it going to get more pro style? Is it going to get more balanced pass oriented? I don't know. Just seems a little bit weird for the Ducks, because we haven't seen that in quite a lot since before Chip Kelly. So it's a weird spot.
Joey Harrington era.
Yeah. Questions. Offensive weapons are brand new. We talked about Bo Nix taking over under center. Lack of experience too on the running back and wide receiver positions. So it's kind of building this chemistry that I think will not come into fruition until we get to probably out into conference play. So hopefully they figure stuff out in the first 3 to 4 weeks before they actually hit a conference game. Game to watch. What do you think?
Utah at Oregon. Oregon.
I thought about that was my number 2. Yep.
Because that game could mean a lot for Oregon. I mean, Utah. I mean, I think Oregon is going to have probably one loss coming into that. So it could mean a lot to both teams, but I think Utah could be undefeated headed into that game if everything goes right for them, and that could kind of be their de facto playoff game. And Oregon's obviously very loud, tough crowd.
That's at Oregon, correct?
At Oregon.
Yes, that is a key. That is key to say in this matchup, because Utah at home is tough.
Yep.
If you're going to take Utah out, you're going to have to take them out on the road, because you ain't going to do it at home.
Mm-hmm.
That place is so tough to play in.
Exactly.
And Utah always makes the big games at night for some reason. They're always at night.
Oh, yeah, because they're the Pac-12, everybody wants them to be able to watch. So it's going to be a primetime game. It's going to be cold, probably rainy. Probably a game that Utah wants, but a style they want to play.
Yes. hopefully at that point when they when's that game?
November 19th. So it's second.
So it's like late
to last week of the year.
You're going to know who Oregon is at that point. I don't want to take anything away from Bo Nix, but this system, I like, he's 50. He's a coin flip. Is he going to be, he's very different quarterback that we're used to at Oregon. He's not mobile. He's a pocket passer, and they bring in.
He scrambles though. He scrambles a ton. He doesn't necessarily. But he
more for time than yards.
Kind of like Manziel that way. Just kind of runs around like crazy.
Manziel, I think, is a little bit more fleet-footed, a little bit more background, like playground or a sandlot type ball. Bo Nix is a pro style QB with mobility. So it's a tough spot. We'll see how it goes. Hey, like I said, great offensive line behind him. A lot of protection. He's playing in the Pac-12. He probably looked at those aspects going into his decision to go to Oregon. My game to watch on this one was actually I made this the barometer play. He's got Georgia. And I say this because it's not going to decide your season, but it's going to give a barometer of the success of you as quarterback, new coach, good offensive line, and you're going against the national champions. In the national championship, the national champions with less on the defense. Listen, Georgia lost 14 starters, but there's probably like 4 or 5 teams that I would consider it doesn't matter. Georgia is one of those. Alabama, Ohio State. I'm trying Clemson maybe, but there's a couple.
Probably.
What's that?
OU
I don't know. There's a lot of turnover on
the
OU side, so I kind of take that with a grain of salt. But so looking at, is this transition good for you? You've been with this team for Auburn forever. I want to see at least progress in this game.
But dude, half this league has that. I mean, half this league has that new quarterback coming from another team.
Yes,
so
but
it's like he's one of the better transfers in. So I'm just not worried about it. Look at their schedule. Who cares? This is one that no matter what.
Correct, but this is one that sticks out to me is like I just don't see the fit. When I see
he's got the offensive coordinator. They're going to play. They're going to run his offense. It's going to fit.
Yes, but can the team that he's surrounded by? 8 guys, like I said, 8 guys coming back on the offensive side that are used to like stepping up to the ball in like 2 seconds and either running the ball or just coming out with a quick pass. I don't know if that's going to transition
as pro style as you think he is. I think we're
going we'll see. We'll see. It is the Pac-12.
Go watch his highlights. He runs around like crazy.
Well, he has to because he has no offensive line, so it's going to be a little bit interesting.
And he's a little guy.
Yeah. All right, so let's go into we're working through the North. Interesting team here, and the changes with them. We're talking about the Washington Huskies. Did you know where I was going with this before?
Yes.
So
that's exactly how
coaching. We have a coaching change. A lot of transfers coming in because of that coaching change. I have a lot of notes on Washington, so I'm going to pass it to you first.
So Washington's always one of those teams that you come into the season knowing they're going to be pretty solid, but this isn't not one of those years. But luckily for them, They're in the Pac-12 North. If they were in the Pac-12 South, it would be a different story. What's his name? Is it Michael Penix or Penix?
It's Penix.
Coming from Indiana. I don't see it working. I see that being a way bigger question mark than Bo Nix at quarterback as far as the transfer goes. It's his 5th season. He had one good year with Indiana. I think it seemed like to me one decent season where Indiana kind of started out 7-0, 8-0 that year, and then fell off a cliff. I have Washington finishing like 8-4 on the season. I think they're going to be okay, but that's just because of their schedule. They play 2 cupcakes to start out, and then they have Michigan State. And then after that, they have a lot of winnable games until they get to Oregon. I mean, they play 2 ranked teams all season. I mean, it's the easiest schedule on the planet. So that's why they're going to get to 8 wins. What do you think, Guns?
I think this was, I know we've off air, we've shit on Penix. And as I did my research into the connection with I was like, why did Penix go to Washington? I couldn't figure out why out of all places he went to Washington. So I did my research. Kalen Dober, who came over from Fresno State, if you actually look at his history, he was the offensive coordinator at Indiana in like 2017 or 2018 or something like that. He actually coached Penix at Indiana. So I went and looked at his statistics. Now, I think Patrick Ramsey was the quarterback, the main quarterback there for Indiana. And actually, when he was there, Indiana had their best offensive season of all time. When he was the offensive coordinator, Penix played 6 games or started 6 games, or he was in the realm. And what I want to bring into this argument is the statistics that Penix did with and without.
All right, go ahead.
Kalen Dorr. So he had 52% completion rate while he was with Indiana. He was basically even Steven with interceptions and touchdowns. But under Kalen Dorr in his freshman year, he had a 68% completion rate and 10 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. And he was just a freshman. So I think
did he come in late that season or something?
He came in late. I'd have to look further into the stats to see how much he played, but he actually
what year was he when they like went Indiana when they had like that awesome start? Everybody
2017, 2018 or something like that. No, well, I mean, if you want to go to 20, they had a good team in 2020.
Right.
But they had their best offensive performance was like when that's when they lost Kalen Dorr.
Okay.
I think so he's been the Fresno State coach. So, and you've seen the quarterback performances that he brings to the table when he's there. And I think that's going to kind of translate a little bit. So I'm a little bit higher on Penix than a lot of people should be based on the history. Sometimes you get the right coach. It's almost like having, Tom Brady with, I'm drawing a blank on the name now because he's gone. But you know what I'm saying? So you have the right QB coach, or you have the right
a good fit. It's just a scheme
it's just a good fit. This may be the fit that Penix needed, and he made the move to go do so. And that's the reason why he won the starting position. I was a little bit shocked that he won the starting position, but then I went to the history and I said, well, obviously he's going to win the starting position. So I think it's going to improve on this one. And it's more not the offense that I'm concerned with, it's more the defense. They couldn't stop the run last year. And then I went to look back to see why they didn't stop the run. They had so many key injuries on the Washington side, especially don't make me Zion. I can't say the rest of the word, but I called him ZTP. So ZTP was gone for most of the year. He's a edge rusher. So they get him back this year. He didn't go to the draft or anything like that, but he was hurt for a majority of the year. And that really set the tone for the offense. He's a leader of that the defense. Like he's a leader of that defense. And I think they made some good moves and key transfers on the experience side on the defense. They went to great defenses in UAB and Pitt and picked those players off, brought them into Washington. And I think they're going to improve here. As long as
that's the hardest part of this show, isn't it? Correct. Is trying to figure out all these transfers and how they're going to impact the teams, because it's just the transfer portal's changed everything.
Yeah, but without ZTP though, I'm not talking about transfers here. Without him, they gave up 4.8 yards. Yeah. They gave up 4.8 yards per carry, and it was almost 200 yards. The rushing killed them, but now you have him inserted in. You have the transfers inserted in. It's a total different dynamic on the Washington side. And I think if the defense performs, Penix will perform, especially when he's got his coach. That's his coach. That's his muse. So I can see
it, Guns, because he had that year, man, where he looked awesome.
He looked great.
Awesome.
Great.
And if they rekindle that, they can still finish second in the Big Pac-12 North.
Imagine everybody writing off Penix. I'm not like the public has already written him off. All right. The kid can perform under the right tutor.
We'll see.
Average schedule too, ranked number 72 in the country, like you said. It's funny because you said Washington kind of sucks, but they'll win 8. Is that really sucking, or is that kind of above average? Because 8 wins is above average.
Well, yeah, it's a victim. It's just because of their schedule. If they had it, if they were in the other side of the conference, they'd win 6.
Sure,
they're better than the shitty teams and they're average, but average is 8 wins.
I understand where you come from. It's a Pac-12.
Yeah.
All right, take it out of context. But all right, let's look at the game to watch. What's the game to watch for you?
The last game of the year, the Apple Cup. It's always crazy. The weather is always snowy. It's at Washington State, which I actually prefer for this game. And I love watching that game to end the season. I love rivalry games in general. But I think that's a good game to watch if you're going to watch a Pac-12 game. And I don't think any of the other games that they have are that intriguing other than that one and maybe the Michigan State game.
That game's usually on a Friday, right?
Yeah, it's November 26th this season. And it usually is on a Friday. Well, I know their conference title game is always on a Friday.
Right.
Let's see. Yeah, November 26th is a Saturday. So no, it's on a Saturday.
That's weird because usually I always consider that game like a Friday, like late game. Like it's like you're eating like turkey leftovers or something like that. It's like that. That's kind of like
exactly
that.
Perfect. It's the perfect.
And it's always why is it always snowing? It feels like it's always
just snowing. I love that. I love snow games.
I don't think the Apple Bowl to me is the same without Mike Leach.
No, nothing is the same. Nothing is the same without Leach. Yeah, and then also, a good coach on the Washington side. So throw out the records, watch the Apple Cup or the Apple Bowl. I think it's right. The Apple Cup. And let's roll.
So my game to watch is Oregon at Oregon. They lost to them by 10 as 7-point dogs. The away team is 4-2 straight up and against the spread in this matchup. Mm-hmm. It's kind of has that revenge factor, and by November you're gonna know who these teams are. And I'm really high on Washington more than I probably should be. After just looking into like the history that Penix had with the coaching staff, sometimes with these young guys, it just takes the right scheme that just works for you to take you over the edge. I don't want to like take Penix out of the realm because he's a mobile quarterback that can throw. And with Washington, he's going to have better targets than he would ever have it with the Hoosiers. So, and we'll get to the win totals. You probably already know where I'm going with Washington.
I know where you're going. Whatever. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Another team that I like, in a way.
I know why you like them too. I know who you're going to
What team?
Say.
Go ahead.
Oregon State.
Yeah.
Offensive line.
Ah, you bastard. Well, because we chat, you asshole. All right, don't ruin this for the public. All right, so we're gonna go to Oregon State. The Beavers, and this is not Pornhub.
So, man, Oregon State is one of those teams that has just been slowly getting solid. They really don't beat anybody they're not supposed to beat yet,
but they compete.
But they compete. They're much better, much better coached under this new guy after Riley left.
Yep.
Although Riley was a great coach for them as well, but they still haven't gotten over that hump. But I don't know much about their quarterback. So I don't know much about Chance Nolan at all. And I think he won the job, right?
Yeah, I think there was a debate on who the quarterback was being. Honestly, it's not even part of my talk.
They've always had a big pro style quarterback. They're going to probably run the ball a lot behind the offensive line and play defense. I have them third in the North.
Yep.
Average, probably.
I mean, don't ruin it for the people here. Come on.
Nobody will remember. We'll do a refresher at the end. But the Beavers are going to be good. They're probably going to be similar to Washington. They could be better than Washington. It's all about Penix with Washington, and Oregon State. It's all about everything else. So, what do you think?
You hit a lot of the nails on the head. I think 9 starters back, but you didn't talk about the defense. 9 starters back on the defense.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about the defense.
Four out of their top 5 tacklers are back last season. So the group did well early. They kind of fell off the map in the back half of the season. So I think that's more coaching, getting guys ready game to game, especially in the wears and tears of the season. And quite frankly, I didn't go down the injury chart. So there may have been some injuries in there that fell into place that really affected that team, because you look at the statistics, it just dropped off dramatically. It was crazy. So weakness on this side, they lose their best running back. BJ Baylor is gone, who took a brunt of the runs. They averaged 212 yards per game, and they averaged 5.3 yards per carry. I do believe that won't matter that he's gone, because that offensive line is going to be one of the toughest in the country.
Yeah, I think that's a big difference for them. Yeah.
And doesn't matter who they put in the backfield. They could put me or you in the backfield and we'll still get like 3 or 4 yards of carry. Maybe.
At least. I could fall over and get a couple.
I mean, that's what I mean. It's like kind of lean in, go low. And that's what I mean. It's like find that hole and just dive. And they have some depth on the running back position. You actually look at the running backs that they had run last year, done like all of them got 5 yards of carry. It was great. 5 to 6 yards of carry in college football is astounding.
It's big time.
Astounding. And they're bringing back a lot of those guys and the spots that they filled in there. This is like Wisconsin style football. They just want to ground and pound. I love it.
I love it too.
I think that's going to be the key to the Oregon State season. Same thing as last year. Can you run the ball? Can you do it well? Can you do the play action and get it out to your receivers? And that is going to kind of like stem into your season, because I think your defense is going to be fine. They're going to be improved.
Totally.
So you got the offensive line, you got the defense, you have the key ingredients to be successful. And now it's up to the weapons, the quarterback, the running back, and the wide receivers. We'll see how Oregon.
Little bit of a sleeper.
It is kind of a sleeper, but I want to see him play. They're really heavy favorites in week 1 too, and I'm really
versus Boise. Does Boise not have much?
No, maybe they're not. You know what? I'm wrong. They're playing Boise, but that is like one game I need to like circle and do an analysis.
Kind of a tough schedule, dude. If they have Boise at home, then they go to Fresno State, and Fresno State should be pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So they have a
Fresno's
more
real good
schedule than Washington as well, which could hurt them.
Yep. But that's going to be a barometer for them non-conference play. Tough schedule. Game to watch. What do you got?
That first game versus Boise State, we're going to see. That's going to be kind of a contrast in styles. Boise State does have some guys that can hit. They always have guys in the trenches. not playing on the blue field, which is great. I hate watching games on the blue field. But
they beat everybody on the blue field.
That's a Saturday night 9:30 game that I think we're going to probably tune in a little bit to, and just kind of check out Oregon State and see how they're looking.
Yep, I'm very interested in this team. I just want to see what the running back core is like. Can they move the ball? I think they can. We'll see.
Yeah.
My game to beat, our game to watch is Oregon, and I only say that because you actually look at the history of this team. Oregon lost to them 39-29 last season, but that was kind of a revenge spot for Oregon anyways, after getting beat the year before. Home team is 6-1 straight up, and Oregon State has won 2 out of the last 3 in Corvallis. So I think this team will be pretty much on level with Oregon, and I wouldn't be surprised if this game ends up as a pick'em. But we'll see how the season unfolds. I like Oregon State regardless. I'm just gonna in this matchup. I think it's called the Civil War.
Yep, that's correct.
We can still say that. Can't say shootout, but
I like how the Pac-12. So they have kind of similar names like the Big Ten does. With all their I guess every conference does that.
I think it's funny that they call that the Civil War when the Civil War didn't even happen anywhere near Oregon. But I digress.
The Oregon Trail game.
Yeah. But if there was a pick on this one before I even see injuries or anything like that, I was like, you got to take the home team, take Oregon State.
That's the way it goes.
All right. So we're going to the next team. Interesting spot. A lot of changes as far as personnel is concerned. We're talking about Washington State. Mike Leach is
no moss,
but he is
Washington State is going to be interesting because once again the weird quarterback transfer from an FCS team. What is it? Incarnate Word or what is it's something like that. Yeah, he supposedly he lit it up. He kind of lit it up in the COVID season, and then last year he led Incarnate Word to the playoffs in FCS, which it sounds like it's hard to do. I don't follow Incarnate Word football often, but I doubt they make very many playoff appearances.
Don't worry, I do.
Of course you do. I mean, of course you do. You're the man. You're the college football guru. I mean, you know everything.
I know what I need.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Is Incarnate Word isn't an FCS power, right?
Definitely not FCS.
Okay, good.
And they're not an FCS power either.
And I think that's something that might be a little undervalued with Washington State because if he's good, they could be good. But I don't know, man. I have them kind of middle of the ground, making a bowl game. But that's about it. I think if they make a bowl game, that's a good season for them this year.
I have agreements on this one. I have a lot of questions with Washington State. I think they made the right move. Similar move than a lot of teams have made. I've seen Oregon make this move. You can take Western Kentucky into this realm is like trying to dip into the talent of the FCS to get production. I mean, listen, the FCS can compete with FBS teams. And if you're on the weaker side of the P5, why wouldn't you go and try to get the biggest and the best player in the country? And in Washington State, credit to them, they went and got Incarnate Word's quarterback Cam Ward. And they also got the head coach to go along with that. So they have him as the OC. And I think the transition is going to be as smooth as pie, similar to Bailey Zapp. Granted, it wasn't P5 ball. We can see a sample of that in the P5 ball because it was very successful with Western Kentucky. It changed the dynamic of that team. Ward threw for 4,648 yards last season, 65% completion rate, 47 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. Incredible numbers, but they're FCS numbers, so take that into account. Should be interesting. But, and I say huge but, 4 offensive starters back. from last year. They had to dip into the transfer portal to fill in the voids. So I need to see what the line can do. Can they protect Cam Ward? It's going to be a very different game for that kid. But God damn it, hopefully he's successful because I'd love to see a good Washington State team again.
Oh, be great.
Game to watch.
I mean, I have to say the Apple Cup because I said that for Washington, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
But if I were to pick another one, if we want to talk about another matchup, I think Utah coming into Washington State in late October.
You asshole. You took my game.
Night game. They already have it slated for a night game already.
Yep.
So Washington State's going to show out.
Yep.
Utah, I think probably, I don't know what Utah's schedule look like if it's a look ahead, like what their look ahead thing is. Let's see what they have next. So they have Arizona next. So they're not going to have to worry about that, but they have USC prior. So it's coming off of the USC game. So that's another factor there. So I'm guessing you're going to probably be on Washington State when that game rolls around. What do you think?
You're missing one key point in this game.
Go ahead. Teach me, Kimosabi.
Granted, Utah is coming off a big game, but both teams are coming off a bye.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of kills the momentum factor, which I kind of put into play.
Let's see.
So you look at the game.
It's a Thursday game too.
Yes, but it's off of both teams are off a bye. Both.
Yeah, there's like a 12-day break. So
so there's a prep period there.
Yeah.
Lost it. Washington State lost, but I had that as my game.
Okay.
Regardless, because I couldn't find another game on the board that really kind of fit. Lost to them 24-13 as 15-point dogs, so they actually covered. And they did it on the road, which is kind of impressive to me because playing at Utah sucks. Now they get them at home, they get them off a bye. Granted, Utah's off a bye too, but they're coming off a big game. Actually, if you check the back-to-back games, they have to play UCLA and USC before they get to Washington State. So regardless of the bye, you may still catch them. Only time will tell. But this is a game to watch if you're looking at Washington at all. Washington State at all is October 27th, 2022. Put it on your calendar. Take a look at these two teams. You may find a sharp angle on taking Washington.
No doubt.
State. All right. What do we got left in the North? Oh, dog shit.
We could probably tie these next two together.
Yeah, let's piggyback this. I'll go quick. Let's do California.
So California has Jack Plummer. No relation to Jake Plummer. Is he related to Jake Plummer? I don't think he is.
Do you know what Jake Plummer does now? Grows mushrooms.
Yeah, mushrooms.
Is it like the good mushrooms or the bad mushrooms?
Are there any? What's the difference?
I mean, there's the ones that you can get that a chef makes.
These are like psychedelics.
Yes. No, the good mushrooms. All right, go ahead.
The good ones. They're gonna struggle. A lot like Stanford. I think Cal versus Stanford is going to be my game to watch, just because that's kind of a rivalry game anyway. So that's always something to tune in for. But they're both going to struggle. You never know. I think Cal needs to figure out their identity soon.
Yeah.
Because they're getting left behind and it's not looking good for them moving forward, because they're kind of left out of this realignment situation. But man, that's all I got. That's all I got on Cal. I mean, I think Stanford, and Stanford's,
Yeah, do Stanford. Let's do them both at tandem, because I have nothing on Cal.
Stanford's a little bit different because I think they have a quarterback.
They do. No, they have Tanner McKee.
So he's an older guy. He took a 2-year mission trip. So he's one of those guys. He's back.
Didn't go to BYU. He went to Stanford.
Didn't go to BYU. Went to Stanford. And man, I really think Stanford is going to be better than Cal, but by a slim margin. I don't think they have much around the quarterback, but the coach is going to put him in spots to win. They just don't have the guys to win. That's how I feel about Cal. And how I feel about Stanford. And I don't think Cal has much of a coach in comparison to Stanford. So that's my opinion there.
I think we're on the same page. My notes are I'll do Cal first. No, their experience is just terrible. They brought in, you mentioned it, Jack Plummer coming from Purdue, transfer. Aiden O'Connell stole his spot. Three back on offense, 5 on defense. They lose all their offensive weapons and defensive weapons. Team is terrible. I don't expect anything out of this team, even in an overlooked spot. I don't expect to take Cal at any point this season in any bet, unless I see something late in the season. There is nothing that screams to me that Cal can even match up to anybody this season. Stanford, on the other hand, I was surprised because I took Stanford in spots and I was successful in taking them in those spots, that their offense was absolutely overall god awful. They averaged 82 points per game. 82 yards per game on the ground, 302 yards per game of total offense. Just terrible. I thought Tanner McKee was good. He was a 5-star touted athlete. He got recruited. He went to Stanford. Supposed to be the next coming of Andrew Luck. He goes on a mission, and his complete athleticism is drained from him. And I don't know if it's the team. I don't know if it's the coach. I don't know why he didn't transfer after the terrible success. Maybe just too religious. I don't know. We'll see. But on the Stanford side, 10 starters back on the offensive front. They can't get any worse. That's what I'll say about them. But I need to see them on paper.
Notre Dame did a great job scheduling these two teams, didn't they?
Yeah. And they couldn't stop the run last year.
Notre Dame should just join the Pac-12 with their scheduling this year.
Oh, they murdered them. They could not stop the run. Well, USC might have been tough. We'll get to USC. Yeah. It's like they could not stop the run last season. They gave up 230 yards per game on the ground, 5.7 yards per carry. But they get 7 starters back. I don't know what that means. So sometimes I keep being a little bit more adamant on experience because that's what I do early in the season because I have no other data on them. This team is like, oh, look, they got 10 starters back. I was like, well, those 10 starters gave up 234 yards per game on the ground.
Yeah, there's sometimes getting starters back is not a good thing. Sometimes getting starters back is not a good thing.
So when you're looking at like from a sharp perspective, when you're looking at guys with experience, go look what they did last year first. Right. Okay. Right. And then if they got 10 starters back on the off, like Stanford is a perfect example of not judging a book by its cover. Perfect. Game to watch. You got one for any of these teams?
I have one. For both of them, I would say Stanford and Cal. Just that matchup for each.
Okay.
Just because of it's historical. It's going to be pretty weather. It's at Cal Berkeley. Is their new stadium done yet? They're building a new stadium, and I think it's going to be pretty sweet. So I don't know if it's done this season or not. If it is, it's definitely a must watch. But that's my game to watch. Stanford, Cal, going back to the bands rushing the field.
The band is on the field with Ewing. I think John Elway was a quarterback then.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so my game to watch actually is USC, and let me tell you why. Historically,
interesting.
They performed well against USC. This may be different this year, but we'll see what the line is. They beat USC last year 42-28, and they've won 5 out of the last 8 meetings, 6-2 against the spread. Home team in this matchup is 4-1 straight up. So take those stats and trends as they are, but USC is basically Oklahoma 2.0. So we'll see. All right, that sums up the north side. Let's go to the south side. And we're going to start with Oregon. Oh, no, wait. I'm sorry. I'm on the wrong one. Let's start with USC. Bug it.
I mean, USC is the wild card in this entire college football season.
Yeah.
Because I really think after watching a season of Caleb Williams, not a full season, Rattler started the first couple games, but
he got rattled.
From OU Texas on last season, I think he's a Heisman level quarterback. He's big time. Lincoln Riley is obviously a genius offensively. Now, can he turn it around immediately? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think they're a playoff team. I don't think they're a Pac-12 championship caliber team yet. But they could be. I mean, they could be. If he goes out there and lights it on fire and gets some momentum, because USC is one of those schools, once they get some momentum and they start believing, those uniforms show up, you know the deal. I mean, you're going to be scared to play them.
Dun, 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 dun. Oh, I hate it.
I know but you love it at the same time because the game is better when USC is good. Same with Notre Dame. So my game to watch is Notre Dame USC.
Don't get 26th, too far ahead. All right.
November 26th.
Don't get too far ahead. All right. So I think there has just been a significant makeover on USC.
Well, they got Pitt's wide receiver too, right? They got that guy,
Jordan Addison.
So they've got some dudes.
He won the Blitnikoff last year.
As Cowherd would say, they got some dudes.
They got some dudes. They got Lincoln Riley, who is that dude, the quarterback whisperer, apparently.
Everybody around here just hates him. Oh my! Because I'm in Oklahoma. Everybody just my god.
Yeah,
they just want him to fail. So it's going to be fun for me to watch all the USC games.
Well, I want Brian Kelly
because of the local part of it.
I want Brian Kelly to fail.
It's similar. So it's a similar deal. Yeah.
Not this similar because Brian Kelly will fail. Lincoln Riley may not fail. All right. True. So they bring Caleb Williams. Everybody knows this, but they also bring Travis Dye from Oregon as the running back. Okay. And I mean, they go, I need weapons. So they get Caleb Williams. They get Travis Dye from Oregon, and they go get the Blitnikoff guy, Jordan
Addison. Free agency. It's like free agency.
But you pay less. It is like Costco. The Costco of free agency is what they did. And I'm not even counting in the Oklahoma guys that they brought in on the offensive and defensive side to fill in voids. Very different team.
And the Oklahoma coaching staff. And they brought in the Oklahoma defensive coordinator.
Which should be a tell of like what was going on in Oklahoma at that time. Is like all those guys were just, I mean, look at Notre Dame. Nobody went with Brian Kelly. Nobody. They all stayed. Right. I think there was like two guys on the coaching staff that went with Brian Kelly.
Everybody I bet they knew they were going to clean house if they stayed, because they weren't super tenured. But anyway, go ahead.
But look at that dynamic. Is like, is the coach respected and loved? Then people will follow.
No, he's a dick.
And Lincoln,
so that's the.
Yeah, I mean, Brian Kelly's a dick, yes.
Yeah, Lincoln Riley's a dick, too.
Well, if he's that big of a dick, man, did he have guys to follow him? So I think you have Oklahoma State biased on that one. And if he's a dick, he's a good dick. And he's probably long and he's thick and he's deep. All right. All right. We do some questions on this one. I kind of reiterate like a lot of the Oklahoma guys coming over. Only 3 returning starters on the defensive side of the ball. They went to the transfer portal and picked up 10 new players to fill the void. It's crazy how the changes is like how do you cap early college football with the transfer portal. I think we'll figure that out as the years go on. This squad also couldn't stop the run, which is pretty much a typical statement I'll bring up with every team that goes to the Pac-12. 4.6 yards per carry, and they gave up 65.8% completion rate last season. So nowhere to go but up. But it may be Oklahoma ball, like fun and gun, a lot of overs. Last guy with the ball wins. I can see that happening.
It's going to be fun and interesting no matter what happens. It could be a train wreck. It could be just fireworks. Either way, it's going to be entertaining with USC.
Yes. There's going to be a lot of eyes on USC early in the season. And
My
a lot
game
of people
to watch is USC Notre Dame. What is your game to watch, sir? It's got to be USC Notre Dame as a Notre Dame fan.
It is. It is. It is.
It's a huge
game. I have stats. This
Give
is the
me
first
the
time these two meet at the end of the season since 2018. This used to be consistent that we would just be like, okay, we have to face USC at the end of the season. Hasn't happened in a while. Why? Because the USC team sucks. And Notre Dame was on the rise, and it wasn't even worth putting them at the end of the season. Now they're back because, Lincoln Riley's there. Can't wait to take them out. Shout out Freeman. Go get them. Home team is 7-1 straight up and against the spread in this matchup. Kind of hurts.
Notre Dame.
Is Notre Dame at home?
No, USC is.
Okay. Well, I missed that one. Yeah. But Notre Dame has won the last 4 matchups straight up. So we'll see how it goes. It's going to be a good matchup regardless. There's 4 key games for Notre Dame. We haven't talked about Notre Dame. It's week 1. Clemson, USC, and BYU. I think those are the 4. So
for who?
For Notre Dame.
Well, Ohio State's a big one.
I said that. I said Ohio State.
You said Clemson.
I said Ohio State, Clemson, USC, and BYU.
God, that's a tough schedule.
Yeah, toughest they've faced in, I think 2020 was their biggest. So, all right, let's go to. We'll stay in state. We'll stay in Cal. We'll stay a little bit smarter, a little bit wiser. We'll go to UCLA. The Bruins. A lot of people consider them a sleeper. Some consider them Chip Kelly's last dance. What are your thoughts on UCLA?
DTR, Dorian Thompson Robinson. Right?
Is there a better 3 initial name in college football?
It's pretty good. OSU used to have a guy named XLK. That was pretty good. But DTR is back, and I think a lot of people thought he was going to transfer, and he did not.
Is ZTP bigger than DTR? The Pac-12 has 3 initials because they think they're pompous. They're pompous asses. No, I'm just kidding. All right, go ahead.
Too many hyphens. But, I mean, UCLA is a sleeper team, and part of that is because of their schedule. They have a really, really good schedule. The only hard team they play on the road is Oregon. They have Bowling Green, Alabama State, South Alabama to open the year, all at home. Then they go to Colorado, host Washington, get Utah at home, go to Oregon, Stanford at home, at Arizona State, Arizona at home, USC at home, at Cal. So the argument for UCLA is their schedule. They have a very favorable schedule as far as home and away, where they have a chance if they can start the season off 6 or 7-0. It would be, I guess, 5-0 going into that Utah game. So that's to me is if you're looking to bet anything with UCLA, it's the schedule. And I think they're going to be pretty damn good too. I don't think they're USC or Utah good, but they are a sleeper team. You're right, and I think DTR is the reason. if he plays good, a lot like the other quarterbacks in this league, you can carry a team with a good quarterback, I think, in the Pac-12.
All right, I have concerns with UCLA.
Go ahead.
As I should. Chip
go
Kelly
ahead.
has just not been. He's not been able to mirror what he did at Oregon. Only 8 starters back, so they bring in a lot of inexperienced players as far as starting is concerned. 2 of those on the defensive side of the ball. So it's a full rebuild in the defense. Plus, they lose their offensive line coach. That kind of hurts them, especially the way that they run the ball, because they are a run first offense. 3 starters on the offensive line to fill the void from the transfer portal. So we'll see how that dynamic kind of works. So I have questions on the offensive line. I don't have questions on the weapons, because Dorian Thompson Robinson, aka I wrote the initials wrong. I put DQB, but it's DTR. But it was funny. And Zach Cabernet. So no one mentions like Zach Cabernet as a great player, but man, absolute electric running back. And I think him and Dorian just kind of work well together. So the run game should work well. They averaged 215 yards per carry yards per game last season, and 5 yards per carry as a running tandem. So with the Pac-12 not being able to stop the run altogether in most games, I think UCLA is going to absolutely dominate. The question that I have from Chip Kelly's offense, and I trust him on the offensive side, did he do his due diligence on the transfer portal to fill in the voids that is missing from the offensive line? So I have some concerns there. But you brought up a great point about the strength of the schedule. So UCLA is going to look good on paper, and they're going to look good in performance because they're playing a weak-ass schedule. 75th in the country as far as strength of schedule is concerned. They don't have to face anyone relevant till October 8th.
Yeah.
So if you want to learn who UCLA is, you're not going to learn it until October. You're going to see, UCLA. You're going to have UCLA Bruins Twitter going.
They're going to be top 20
nuts until October.
Right.
So keep that in mind, because the value of UCLA will be lost mid-September, but the value of whoever they play after that is going to be extremely good and extremely sharp. Stay away from UCLA betting. I would say mid-September to October, first week of October. They have to play Utah on October 8th. So anytime between then, fade them. We'll see. I think they play Utah at home.
Yeah, they play Utah at home October 8th.
So that's a wild.
That's my game to watch. That's my game to watch because of just what you said. That's when you're going to figure out who UCLA is.
Yeah, I put that too.
Because and they have a bye week and then they play Oregon. So we're going to figure out if UCLA is real or not very quickly.
But you're not going to know in September. You're not going to know shit in September.
No. Once conference season starts, once October hits, they're going to have a tough. They don't have a really tough schedule. They play only 3 ranked teams, but they're just going to have they're going to have an easy schedule, but just a little difficult stretch there in the first part of October they got to get through. I think they're going to be good though. I have high hopes for UCLA. I think they're on the rise. What is this? Chip Kelly's like 4th year,
5th.
So 5th. It's time to get there. He's had enough time to get his guys. Right.
I was saying, people are commenting. I put a poll up for the surprise team. People mentioned UCLA, and I said it was the same agreement, I guess, across the board. It's like, Chip Kelly's been there for 5 years. This is his guys. Every guy that is working for him, this is his team. So if you think this is the future of Bruins football and you agree with it, he has to win 8 to 9 games. He needs to get to a reasonable bowl, and I think he has to win that bowl at the very least to keep his
Yep.
job. I don't think
Yep.
there's any ifs, ands, or buts about that, especially with I think the Pac-12 kind of being on the downside this year. I think there's only probably two
It's a
teams
9-3 season or bust for me, in my opinion, for
that
UCLA.
yeah, we're on the same page. I think I put 9 to 10, but I included the 10th win as the bowl win.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, that's UCLA. That was a great debate on UCLA. I think we've aligned on a lot of these plays, which is kind of weird. We haven't argued at all. Let's go to Arizona. I'm talking about Arizona State. Interesting team this year. The dynamic, a lot of lost. It's not the same Arizona State team. You lose a lot of weapons. They filled in a lot of weapons. Herm Edwards, what do you think?
I don't know if Emory Jones is the answer. I didn't really like him at Florida. I don't think he's super dynamic. And I don't think Herm Edwards is necessarily a college coach either. I think he wants to do things the right way. I think he obviously teaches more than football with those kids. I think he's kind of there as a mentor, if nothing else. But I don't think Arizona State's any good. I think they're going to be average. I think they're going to be a 7-win team. I don't know. I could be undervaluing Emory Jones. They play Oklahoma State in the non-conference, so that will kind of tell me a lot about them. Just because obviously I follow Oklahoma State, but I want them to be good. I want the Arizona schools to be good. I really do, because I think that they're fun to watch when they're good. I mean, but it's just been so long since they've been relevant that I can't trust them.
Jake the Snake Plumber was that the last time Arizona Sunday?
I mean, maybe.
I mean, Herb Edwards did have a couple of seasons where he got to the third quarter of the season. He got a big,
and they always filter out. Yeah,
filter out because he didn't play to win the game. I mean, come on. That's what he did. All right, Arizona State, in my opinion, 7 starters back overall on the team, 3 on offense, 4 on defense. They lose other offensive weapons, including a lot of them went to LSU, I think. Ranked 126 in the country in experience, which is key when you're looking at these teams early on. But strength, and I would consider this a question mark. 1-2 punch in the backfield could be an improvement, especially with Emory Jones. I consider this an unknown and a sleeper running back I can't say it, Xavier Valade. If you don't know college football and you don't know the G5s and go into depth, this guy was the running back for Wyoming. So Wyoming played good defense, and they basically just said, here, Valade, run the ball. He had over 3,200 yards on the ground for the Cowboys in his career. Wyoming had a mass exodus of players, and you saw that last week. They underperformed drastically, and that's what I'm talking about with week 1, seeing a drastic move in the line.
Yep.
Like you saw it with Vanderbilt against Hawaii. You saw it with Wyoming versus who'd they play? Illinois?
Yep.
Can't remember.
I think so.
So you see a 6 to 7 line move, and people are like, oh, the value's gone. I'm like, yeah. But if you look at the experience factor, I mean, you're dealing with a completely different team that is almost D2 level of
they're not
ground up.
They're not getting great recruits. They're not getting.
Yeah, but like I said, a lot of promise at least in the backfield. But they're combined with an O-line that has combined 62 starts overall. So they may be on par on the offensive line. So if you saw what they did on the progression as rushing is concerned, you can kind of line that in with a gauge. And Emory Jones is honestly a better quarterback than Jalen Daniels.
Really?
I think so. Or on par. I don't think there's a big gap, but I think with Valladay, I really like Valladay. I'm a big Valladay guy. So
if nothing else, their uniforms are going to look great. If nothing else, they've got sick uniforms.
So Arizona State to me is one of those pick your spots. You know, you may catch Oregon off a big win or UCLA off a big win. They have to go to Sun Devil Stadium and go play them. That's where you're going to see Herm Edwards. Herm Edwards can coach. Can he recruit? Probably not. He can transfer portal like a motherfucker. So maybe he'll find success at Arizona State.
That's part of it, though. I mean,
yeah,
that's part of it. I mean, the game to watch for me, for them, has got to be just the Arizona State game. Both teams are going to be fairly evenly matched. I would lean Arizona at home just because, but other than that, I mean, you could say Oklahoma State is a game to watch, but only because I'm going to watch it, but I don't know if anybody else will.
Why would you watch that game? It's like, because I bet him at -13.
Yeah, I'm a fan. That's it. I'm a fan. Rivalry game for these two teams is my game to watch. The rest of it is just, get me through the season and hope for a win or a loss if you have a season-long win total with them.
Well, I have a different game.
Go ahead.
This one happens on September 24th, and they're going to play Utah. You actually break down the box score of this game. I mean, you actually look at the final score. It doesn't really tell the whole story. They lost 35-21 in Utah. Tough spot to play. But they went into halftime up 21-7.
Jeez.
And then they gave up 28 unanswered points to lose the game. So playing Utah is tough on the road, but now you get them in your stadium on your home. I wouldn't say court, but with the noise and the lights, I hope you bring out the best uniforms ever.
All black. They're going all black.
All black, and then just go out there and ball out.
Pitchfork.
Listen,
facing down.
I will say this about Emory Jones. Big game dude. The dude performs in big games.
Yeah, he's just so inconsistent. But if you get him, if you catch him right, he can make some things happen.
Was it Alabama that he really like?
Yeah, he almost beat somebody or came in for somebody at one point.
Right.
I don't remember. I always got him and Franks mixed up anyway. But
I like Valladay because he doesn't fumble the ball. He doesn't turn the ball over. And
he
consistently runs 3 to 4 yards.
You're a big Valladay fan. You're a big Valladay fan.
Yeah.
The only one out there.
Just call me Art Valladay. Seinfeld joke.
Vindaloo.
Try to. All right. Let's go into the other part of the state, the Arizona Wildcats.
Yes.
Oh, It's getting bad on these.
So they have what? They have a kid from Hawaii starting on their quarterback, right?
Oh,
is it Jaden DeLora or Jaden De?
Oh no, it's Washington State. That's Washington State.
Oh, that's Washington State.
Yeah.
Who is their quarterback? Who does Arizona have?
You're right, but the quarterback used to be the quarterback for Washington State.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I think he can play a little bit. I think Arizona was bad last year. Were they 1-11 or something?
Yeah, they're terrible.
But they were in a lot of games. Second year under this new coach, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
I think they're a team on the rise versus Arizona State is on the decline. And when I say on the rise, I say that coming from 1-11 to 3-9 or 4-8, something like that.
Sure.
But I kind of like this team. I think they have a little something to prove this year. And I think this kid can sling it.
Yes,
so
he can.
I'm kind of interested in them.
Did you read my notes? I didn't send you my notes.
No. I don't even get Phil Steele.
What? You don't have to because you're the shot. Listen. Anybody in this listening right now, Pun Picks is the sharpest mind in college football because I spend money on magazines and information, and Pun just goes, "Just give me an hour." I got this. He's like Johnny Depp. He's got that same mentality, like liquored up. Yeah,
just boozed up a little bit. Give me some time.
I need a sip of the purple.
But no, man, I kind of like this team. Am I wrong? Give me. What do you think?
I think they're an improvement. I don't know if they're good. I mean, you mentioned they brought in Jaden Delar from Washington State. Great numbers there. 63% completion rate, 28 touchdowns, 13 INTs at Washington, 15 starts. He did his part. I think he probably had too many turnovers. With the virtually a two to one ratio. But they get 15 starters back from last season. What you take from that after a one-win season
bad
is
team.
A grain of salt. Weakness on this one, they're in the same spot they're in from last season. Their front seven sucks. Very inexperienced. Year removed from giving up 4.6 yards per carry on the ground. If there's anything that, if I was in the Pac-12, I wouldn't even give a shit about non-conference play. I would figure out, like, my number one concern would be let's draft a defensive line. Recruit a good defensive line and a couple of edge rushers so we can stop the run and make these assholes pass consistently. Beat me on the pass, and then I would kind of like start there and then build out. But it seems like with the Pac-12, they don't even give a shit about stopping the run.
No, they just want skill guys.
Yep. Game to watch, I put none because they had one win last year, and this is a wait and see team. I do like I think they're going to be upgraded. I think Delara is a good quality quarterback. He's a pocket passer, but can you protect him? It's a wait and see.
I think Arizona. I'm going to be watching a little bit of Arizona for.
Well, you can because you're drunk and you stay up till midnight.
Well, obviously. Well, spoiler alert. I mean, I think they're one of my team total teams, so I'm going to be keeping an eye on them. There's a couple of pivotal games that I think they need to win, and one of them is at Cal, that first Pac-12 game. I think they have to win that.
You might have hit a sharp spot there. I think you made a good point there. It's like, I would think Arizona is a 2 to 2.5 win team total. Am I wrong?
Nope.
All right. So take that in perspective to anyone that's listening. This team won one game last season. They didn't have a quarterback. They have the quarterback.
Yep.
All you need is a small upgrade to get that 2 wins.
Extra 2 wins. Yep.
Right.
Yep. So that's what I'm leaning on. All right. We have 2 more. Don't skip Utah on us. We haven't done Utah yet.
I wanted to kind of like do it a little bit different than we normally do. Do we talk about Colorado?
Yeah, let's talk about Colorado.
And then we'll talk about Utah.
Let's talk about Colorado quickly. They're going to be bad. They're going to be very bad.
Yeah.
They're going to be like worst team in the Power 5 bad. I think. No quarterback. I mean,
there's a lot of teams in the Power 5. Do you think they're going to be worse than Arizona?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I think they're going to be worse than Arizona. I just don't think they have any direction, man. I think they're going to get their ass kicked by TCU this weekend.
Yep.
Or Friday night, sorry.
Okay. I did talk about that in the live feed too.
Oh, you did? Good.
A little bit. I told him when to buy the number.
Hey, what is it? 15?
It's 13 and a half.
Is it 13? Yeah, it's like they're going to get their ass kicked by TCU. Then they play Air Force, then they play Minnesota. And didn't they beat Minnesota last year? Like in a weird win, or they almost did. Something
You know what's
happened.
weird about them? They actually
They looked okay until they didn't, and then they were just horrible.
the weirdest score. I was looking at 2021 results. They played Texas A&M. I think it was neutral field, and it was 10-7.
Yes, that's what it was.
Yeah, it was
That's
weird.
the game I was thinking.
Very
of. I was
weird.
Because I remember betting. I teased A&M. Like I teased
which
A&M.
made no sense because A&M actually.
And then Colorado hung with them.
Mind you,
look-ahead game.
A&M beat Alabama.
Right, and then and then barely beats Colorado.
They barely beat Colorado, which is crazy. Yes.
Yeah.
I
think they're gonna.
Its finest.
I think Colorado's going to be bad. Let's just keep it at that. They're going to be worse than everybody on their schedule. I mean, other than maybe Arizona, but they go to Arizona, so I just don't see a whole lot happening with them.
Yeah. I'm with you on that one. Seven returning starters on offense, including the QB, veteran O-line. So if there's anything that is a positive from Colorado's perspective, is your offense is going to be improved.
Right.
Defense, on the other hand, is an issue. If you actually look at statistics, I'll just do the statistics first, and I'll tell you like who's coming back. Right. They give up 5 yards per carry on the ground to rushers. They only had a 3.2 sack rate, which is terrible. Terrible. It's got to be at the bottom of the heap. Usually you see guys on average anywhere between 6% to 7%, and they're 3.2. Veteran bunch on the defensive line, so there may be an improvement there. I don't really think that means anything because if you actually look at the experience factor on the defensive side,
right,
they are ranked 127th. I think there's 130 teams or 132. I mean, James Madison's in there now, so I never know the number anymore because they keep adding teams.
Yeah, they keep. Yeah, it's 117 now or something.
No, it's 130. I think it's 130.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, it's up there.
Shit.
So offensively, they'll improve, and they may be able to score points, which would get you totals. So if you're looking at totals, in a lot of cases, you have to look at the perspective is, can Colorado score 14 points? In a lot of cases, you know what I mean?
They're giving up 28.
Yes,
or 35.
So you brought up a good point about TCU in Colorado. I lean TCU only for the fact that if you can get them below 14.
Well, I don't think either of you think TCU is going to be great either, in the Big 12. So it's like
when you look into TCU and kind of break down Sonny Dykes and what he does, it's a little bit. I don't know if Max Dugan is ready for the offense for TCU. I don't mean to go into the Big 12, but
yeah, he's good. But yeah, TCU's they're a wild card because they had a lot of success under Dykes when he was there.
But what a good barometer to go and
a good barometer for TCU. Colorado's a fun place to play, fun place to watch a game. I will be drinking and watching that one on Friday night. I know that for sure.
It's at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard
Time. 9 o'clock my time, 10 o'clock your time. Perfect way to end the night on a Friday night. Colorado is one of those teams that has not benefited from leaving the Big 12 at all.
Should have never left.
Nebraska probably in that same boat. Now, money wise, I understand the Nebraska thing, but anyway, we digress on that realignment talk. All right, Utah. Let's get to the big boy, the big dog.
So the perennial darling. If you watch ESPN or any other media junket, everybody loves Utah now.
Everybody loves Cam Rising, right? Everybody loves Cam Rising. Former Texas quarterback.
Great quarterback too.
Didn't
Don't
get a
take
great
anything
shot.
away from. Don't think
Didn't
you know
get
what?
a shot
All
at
right, I'm
Texas.
sorry.
Really,
I'll let you talk.
right? I'm not taking no. I'm not saying because he went to Texas, he's good or bad. But he has a lot of upside. I don't think he got a fair shake at Texas. And he's thriving at Utah, and he's being well coached. He's got good defense behind him. They have a legit playoff chance. They really do. I think they are going to be very, very good. They have a tough schedule, though. If we can pull up their schedule here real quick, they have who do they play first? They play
Florida.
They play an SEC team, Florida. So at Florida, now they are going to be more talented than Florida, but it's at Florida. Difficult environment. Always difficult to start the first game of the year versus top.
Don't mean to stop
SEC
you there,
team.
real quick.
Yeah,
I do have a client play, shameless plug on the Dadbodd's VIP on the Utah and Florida game. So if you want to go check that out, hit me up or hit Pun Picks up in the DMs.
Let's give everybody that play.
It is one of the top plays.
You have a side and a total.
Actually, yes, you're right. It might be split. I actually, you know what? I'm probably going to put that on the.
You have a 2-unit banger. A 2-unit banger.
Yeah, well, I mean, college football is a little bit different, but yes. I'm thinking about putting this on the. You know what? If you want to watch Shark and the Gun, you will see the play. But if you want to join Dadbodd's VIP, hit me up in the DMs.
You can get it today before the line changes.
Correct.
Utah's set up for success with USC at home. They really kind of coast until they get to that USC game, unless you want to count that UCLA game as tough. I think they're going to outclass UCLA by a lot there. But Utah's got a legit chance to go 11-1 this season, depending on that first game of the year. If they lose that first game of the year, it could snowball on them a little bit. But I like this team a lot. I think they are similar to like a similar tiered team to like Oklahoma State and Wisconsin and kind of those mid-level teams that aren't quite blue bloods, but they're, they have a 10-year stretch of winning 9 games a season on average. You know what I mean? They're just always there. So Utah's on the rise. Whittingham's been there for like 18 years, or not Whittingham. What's his name? Is that right?
Yeah, Whittingham. Yeah.
Yeah. He's been there for like 18 years or something. So
great coach.
Great coach, great scheme, great stadium, great fans. Utah is a team to watch.
Yep. When you watch,
go ahead.
When you look at Utah on paper, 8 starters back on the offensive side. You mentioned Cameron Rising. Don't forget about Tavion Thomas, and 5 of their 6 top receivers are back from last year. They actually, if you actually look at their preseason ranking, their offensive line is ranked number 6 in the country. What they're good at is they kind of bring in a lot of the Samoan, just like BYU. They kind of dip a little bit more heavily into that market, and they get some extreme talent. I mean, there is just an immense amount of talent from a football perspective that comes from the Samoan market. And Utah, BYU, Notre Dame has a little bit of a reach in there, but they can't really get into. I mean, these guys are Mormon. They're religious, is like that's where they go, and they are very disciplined, and they're very hungry, and they play good football. And if you actually watch Utah last year, granted they lost to Ohio State in dramatic fashion, but they just showed to the public that they compete on a high level with any
hang
team.
With the Blue Bloods.
They are not your stereotypical Pac-12 team. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So consider that when you're looking at them, which I consider Florida a downgrade from playing Ohio State. Utah was up a bunch. And I don't think Florida could come back from that. So
Utah will hit you. Utah will hit you.
All right. So So they lose their top two. There's a downgrade on that one. They lost their top two tacklers, including their best defenseman from 2022. They're all Pac-12 defender. So there is going to be a downgrade on that level. But you know what they did? They went to the transfer portal. You know what they did? They got the best tackler from Florida. In Muhammad
the freaking portal, dude. The portal.
So what they did is they took Devin Lloyd, who was their best defender, and just took Florida's best defender and just brought him on the team. So their linebacker core, because of that, is ranked number 12 in the nation. So big game for them versus non-conference opponents. And I'll just go into big game right now. Big game is Florida, the barometer of their season, and they need to win this game to actually be considered college football playoff eligible. You're in the Pac-12. You got to be undefeated, just like Notre Dame or just like any independent or anybody that's non-SEC or non-Big 12, Big 10. That's it. Or those two have an exception. Yeah. So they need to make a statement. This is the statement. So versus non-conference opponents, 7-1-1 against the spread in road openers, 4-1 against the spread versus SEC teams. Take that into account going into this game. I know it sounds public. I'm going to say it right now. I'm taking Utah. Minus 2.5. I got them at 2.5.
Yeah, if you can get that under a field goal, that's awesome. That's a great game to watch, and I will be watching that. But my game to watch is USC at Utah, because I think Utah takes care of business until they get to that USC game, and that is a big. You're correct. That's their turning point, because that's huge game, and partly because they play such different styles. USC is going to want to run up the score, while Utah is going to want to shorten the game. So it's just going to be a different outlook from both teams. Lincoln Riley, who knows what's going to happen with them coming into that,
right?
It's one I have circled because I think that decides the Pac-12 South.
Absolutely correct. You hit the nail on the head. So there's like two key games. I hit one, you hit one. Perfect.
Yep. And at Oregon's a big game too. Let's be honest. At Oregon's a big game.
Yeah, we'll see. Yes, I mean it depends on who's in between. Is it after a big game? It just
depends on the if Utah's undefeated, it's a big game because that's their playoffs in the line.
Well,
let's rank them.
Oh, it's gonna be easy. I think we're gonna be on the same page.
All right,
you want to do the South and North first?
Let's go South first.
Okay, me or you?
You go ahead. And I'll let you know if I differ.
All right.
You go South, and I'll let you know if I differ, and I'll do North, and you do the same thing.
Same thing. All right. Utah. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Damn it. Let me go bottom to up. Like Casey Kasem. Number 6.
On your drive home.
I'm going with Colorado. Number 6.
Correct.
Number 5, Arizona.
Correct.
Don't say correct, because you're going to fucking do your own.
I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna do my own if you all have the same as mine.
No, then you can say I got it the same. Don't say shit. Arizona
Correct.
State. Stop it. UCLA, USC, Utah.
Yeah, that's what I have. That's exactly what I have. I almost flipped USC and UCLA, 2 and 3.
Which I understand. I get it.
Because I think UCLA might win that home game against USC, and that would give them the tiebreaker. But I settled on the same 6 as you. All right, North, bottom to top. I have Cal, Stanford, Washington State, Oregon State, Washington, and Oregon.
We have one differ.
All right, what do you have?
Got Cal, Stanford, Washington State, Oregon State, Oregon.
Oh God,
Washington.
You're wild. You're a wild and crazy guy.
Here's why I really want to say why is because I think a lot of people were hyped on Washington last year.
You just hate Bo Nix too.
No,
You
I
just
do
are a
not.
Bo
No,
Nix hater.
stop it. Yes, I do think Oregon is going to have a down year. I think people were hyped on Washington in the wrong year. I think the revamp of that team, the way that team dynamic was, and I think
you're high on Penix. You're high on Penix, so that makes sense.
No, but I think a lot of the injuries on the defensive side kind of diluted the statistics of what made that team weak.
Mm-hmm.
And when you bring those guys back from injury and they're not going to the NFL, you add a quarterback in there that people don't expect to be successful. But if you don't do the research into what made him successful at Indiana and made him highly touted, the head coach is there. I'm putting a little bit of faith in Penix. I'm putting a little faith into Washington, especially in the Pac-12. Give me Washington to win the North.
That's a dark horse. I think that's a dark horse. I think
clip it.
If you like
clip it and tick it. Who's going to win the Pac-12?
Oregon. And the only reason I say that, all right, listen to my reasoning here. All right. The South is a toss-up. Utah, USC, UCLA. I know Utah's the class, but anything can happen on that side. You have three teams basically that are going to be going for a chance at the championship game in the South. In the North, I think it's a one-team race. I don't trust Washington at all. I think Oregon win. I'm picking Oregon because I think they have the easiest path to get there, and if you get there, you have a chance to win.
Okay,
does that make sense at all?
I don't think.
And I just think Bo Nix going from the SEC, playing Auburn, playing that tough schedule. I think he's going to go out there and think it's a damn scrimmage every week. It's going to be like playing high school again.
The fact that you love Bo Nix so much,
I don't like him.
Stop.
Has a chance.
You are every single college football caller on the planet. Hey, why did you put Bo Nix as a candidate to win the Heisman?
Slap that
every
uniform on him.
Motherfucker thinks Bo Nix is great. I looked at his stats, and I can't wait to. By the way, I can't wait to break down Georgia and everybody's going to know where I'm going with this one. Georgia and Oregon. Yeah. I can't wait to break down how he's performed against Georgia.
Yeah,
it is brilliant.
He was just running, like you said, he was running for his life at Auburn. I don't think it's gonna. I think he's gonna have some time, and I think that changes him.
From a Pac-12 perspective, giving him an extra second.
I think it's a complete change of. It's a complete change of talent that he's going.
Great point. But
that's my reason. I could be wrong.
I've never seen an Oregon offense not run oriented and Bo Nix oriented. So it's going to be a little bit different to me to see an Auburn style offense at Oregon. And I need to see that transition happen on live on TV.
Let's see it. All right.
So my pick is Utah. I'm chalky as fuck. I know I'm chalky as fuck, but they're bringing back so many players on both sides of the ball. I think they have the best coach in the Pac-12, and I can't get away from. And I know a lot of people are picking USC. That's fine. Good. Keep doing it because Lincoln Riley is not the answer to USC. I think you need to see Lincoln Riley do 3 years of recruiting and bring in players. Yeah. Just because he brought in a bunch of transfers and a quarterback that was relatively good. And by the way, you think Jordan Addison is going to have a Biletnikoff season with not Kenny Pickett?
Not ACC.
Yeah. You think it's going to happen with Caleb Williams? Get the fuck out of here.
It might, dude. He is good. Well, either way, the Pac-12 is going to be interesting this year, I think. There's a lot of intriguing games. I'm a little more excited about it this year versus previous years. Can we at least agree on that? there's some pretty intriguing teams with Oregon, Washington, Utah,
I think what
USC, and UCLA.
what this conference brings you, it's the weakest conference in P5. Can we agree on that?
Oh yeah.
But what it brings you is everything that you want in late night football, in 10 o'clock football.
Yeah.
It's
exactly.
And you'll probably get a couple of those games on ABC. You might get
enjoy it while it lasts. Enjoy it while it lasts, people. It's going away. All right, let's do some team totals and wrap this baby up.
Yeah, let's do it. Team totals. I have 2. I couldn't find one.
I have 3.
No, I was like a couple of I like the over in this one. I saw the team total. I'm like, ooh, I don't like that.
I have 3. None of them are necessarily nukes.
I have 1 nuke.
I consider them all evenly graded. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you don't have a nuke. I want to go last.
Yeah, if you have a nuke, if I say one of your nukes, don't spoil it. All right. My first one is Utah over 9.5. I think they're an 11-win team.
You know what I should have taken that one, and that's on me. I didn't see.
And that's chalky. I mean, that's just the obvious pick, but I was surprised to see 9.5. Honestly, I think that's because of USC. But
that's regular. It's predicated on regular season, correct?
Yeah, this is regular season wins. So you have 12 available games. Okay. I need them to go 10-2.
Fair. That's fair.
Which to me, looking at their schedule, they beat Florida. That's a win. Southern Utah's a win. San Diego State's a win. Arizona State's a win. That's a 4. Oregon State's 5. At UCLA 6. USC at home. Who knows?
I think you made week 1 very important.
Right. If they win week 1, they're going to win. They're going to beat their team total because their next losable games are at UCLA, USC at home, and at Oregon. That's kind of their. You got to win 2 out of those 3, and you're gold. All right, next one. Go ahead.
I wanted to give a Florida opinion. I don't want.
If anyone thinks Florida has a chance.
No, I think Napier is a fine coach, but if you think Napier is going to turn the program around in one game, it's tough.
But the hype train will go off if they win that game. All right, my next one. We talked about it a little bit earlier. Arizona over 2.5.
Yeah. There's no way to go but up.
I think they're a 4-win team. I think that's their max.
Yep.
I think it's worth the risk. It's a -150 odds, so it is juiced. So you could probably get over 3 if you don't like the juice.
Well, I don't think you can buy a win.
Well, some books show you 3, some show you 2.5. I took the 2.5 route.
Yeah.
And then my next and last play is Colorado under 3.
I saw 2.5, and I wanted to put that on my board.
I saw 3 at -110, and I hit the bet button.
Yep.
And I just think they're going to be terrible. They could prove me wrong, but I think they're going to be terrible.
No, they're going to be bad.
I think that's honestly a good batch of 3 plays. I really like those plays.
Well, you didn't even touch on any one of my plays, so I'm kind of
that shows you how crazy this conference is. We usually go in on a couple.
Yeah, we usually we'll find I saw some of the lines and I was like, oh, I was looking at.
There's some that are obvious, like that Baylor over 7.5. Like that one, like geez.
Yeah, I want to take the under on that one, but I mean, I looked at a couple of the guys I really were highly talking about. I was curious about Washington State with Cam Ward. I was wondering what the number was. I hated the number. Number was really high on them, and I looked at Utah, and I thought that Utah at 9.5 was a good play, and I didn't pull the trigger on that one because it was related to regular season. So I only had 2. So I'll go with my non-nuke, USC under 9.5. I'm sick.
I almost wanted that one.
And it's just everybody and their uncle looking at 3 players, not even 3. I wouldn't even say 3. I would say 2 players
and a coach.
Correct. Okay. Let's do that. Let's do coach 1 and 2 players. So everybody's looking at Jordan Addison, and everybody's looking at Caleb Williams, and they say like, "Oh, this team is different. This team is immaculate. This team is the team to be." As fuck.
Well, that's what blue blood fan bases do when they get something. They're like, they're all in.
What it does for a sharp better is it rises the team totals up to a I would consider a level that is unattainable. And I don't think this team will win 10 wins in the regular season. I don't think that. I think the what the Pac-12 does in a lot of cases is it just each eventually in certain situations they eat each other.
Well, USC throws out a dud, right? They always throw out some weird dud of a game.
It will be like USC will have a big win, and everybody will be cheering. Everybody will be highly touted. A lot of high
they'll go to Arizona State or something and lay an egg.
And then they'll lay an egg. Right. So those are the games that I think will happen. And there is enough competition on their side of the bracket and their side of the division that I think that they will have enough losses to get under the 9.5. My nuke, Washington, over 7.5.
I mean, that makes
so
sense.
easy.
If you think they're winning the North, then that's a great bet.
Trust.
And I do have them with 8 wins, like I said. So I agree with you.
Don't forget. Listen. I want to tell the people this. Don't forget, there's only one team that's ever been to a college football playoff, and that team is Washington.
I thought Oregon made it.
Fuck. Yes, Oregon made it. 2 teams. I forgot about the Oregon losing to Ohio.
The first year.
Ohio State. And they made the championship. They lost in 2014. You're right. I forgot about with Marcus Mariota was quarterback.
Yeah.
But Washington season was so disappointing last year.
Yeah.
That I think they won 7 games, right? 6?
I think they won. I don't remember. I don't have last year.
Whatever it was.
It was a disappointment. They made a
bowl. It was a disappointing season because I thought they were going to win everything. Look, injuries happened. I explained that before, and they get the quarterback that fits the head coach's system in Pettis. I know people want to not back Pettis. It is predicated on the win totals. I think this is the best bet in the Pac-12. Please, and you know what? You need to take it. You have to take it.
I'm going to take it now.
At 7.5.
I'm taking it.
Stop what you're doing right now. If you're talking to your wife, you're sleeping. If you're doing anything, please bet the over on Washington 7.5. This is the best bet of all my win totals.
I'm sold.
I can't. And if I'm wrong, please clip it.
Shot of Malort if you're wrong. Deal? Right now, man to man.
We're going to get Malort from Chicago. I'm going to fucking fly out there. Those guys won't even talk to us.
I'm going to have C2 drive it to you.
Fell through.
I'm going to have C2 drive it to you all the way to Maryland.
Prove it. I would love to hug C2. Just to say hello.
Well, boys. Well, dude, this was fun.
This
was a lot of fun. I think we covered the Pac-12 extensively. We gave you guys a lot of bets, a lot of info. We had some fun. Hopefully you all had some fun. And thanks for having me back on. Sorry I missed last week, but it was fun. I'm looking forward to doing this again next year.
That's correct. We'll get back to normal next week. We'll talk a little bit of NFL. We'll have the guests back. We have guests lined up for September. But man, should we do are we going to do G5 episode?
Maybe we can start at the next episode with a little 30-minute segment to start out before the guest comes on or something.
Yep.
Talk a little G5, maybe independence. The problem is you got to get it done now. So maybe you just go live on and break down some G5 stuff. That might be the way to go.
I'll do it on Dadbodd. Yep, I'll do that. That's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Thanks for
really good.
joining us for all the episodes of the P5 conference, college football. I made Pun do it, and he said, I'm not going to do it. Then he goes, oh, I love college football. Till next time for episode number 94.
3.
So 93. Man, we're getting to 100. We need a special
It's
100
freaking
episode.
crazy. It's
Bring
freaking
back
crazy.
past guest.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. All right.
Be a lot
Thanks
of
for
fun.
joining. That's it.
Bye, guys. Thank you.